Hello guys, Joe with Bitraged. So one of the scenarios we were looking at in the last video played out, and it played out really nicely. It gave us a really sharp pattern. And so I wanted to look at that with you guys. But before we do that, we've been getting a lot of messages and a lot of comments asking about a course. And I wanted to update you guys on that. We are working on one, and we're getting closer to releasing that. But we want to make sure that it is the absolute best on the market. We're looking at this to be the foundation, everything you need to get started, and it's going to showcase the exact strategy and the exact same principles we use to trade in the Forex market. So it's not just going to apply to cryptocurrency. There are some differences, but it will also apply to Forex. So if you're interested in learning how to trade Forex, you're interested in learning how to trade cryptocurrency, you want to be involved in this. And so if you're interested in that, we're getting closer to launch. And so if you're interested in that and don't want to miss out, click the link in the description, enter your email, and we'll email you when we launch that course. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be epic. But let's get into the chart here. So if you look on the 4-hour, we broke out of this descending channel that we were looking at. But what you have to look at is how we broke it. So we definitely didn't do it with impulse. We definitely didn't do it with momentum. So if you look at this, we had our channel like this. But obviously that doesn't make sense to run the channel straight through price when we have a clear pattern here that we can look at. So it makes more sense to just pull that back a little bit and look at the pattern. So we moved up, but we did so correctively. And then we moved up in this channel here. And like I said in the last video, if you have a pattern like this, this is an ascending pattern, which is a sign that it's going to break down. It's going to break to the downside. But if you have an ascending pattern inside of a clear ascending pattern, then you have two patterns and the probability goes up. So we were looking at this for a descending pattern that is corrective. That would indicate a move up. But then we went straight into this corrective ascending pattern, right? So that gives us an indication of a move down. So if we jump into the 1 hour here, you can see we've got this channel that we were trading and moved up, broke out of that, and then created a small bit of consolidation, a continuation pattern here at the trend line, and it appears that we're doing the same now. So we're just creating a flag, and I would anticipate this to continue down, right? So we're looking at potential for a double bottom area here. At this point, we have to assess whether or not it's going to break it or hold. So if it's going to hold this double bottom, all we're looking for is a similar pattern like this. Some sort of descending channel. If we get that, then we can buy that on the break. And then we know that we're going back up. But I think likely we won't get that just because of how corrective this is. So we tried to move up. It was very corrective. And so it is possible to move down, create a double bottom, some sort of descending formation, some sort of deceleration in the market, and then turn around, come back up. But at this point, we're likely looking at a break. And so if we do break, if we break straight through this, then we're just looking at some sort of pattern to confirm it, and then it will move lower. So at this point, really the only scenario we have for Bitcoin is a move down at least to this double bottom area, unless it creates something drastically different. But at this point, that's about all that you can make out of this. The real question is, are we going to hold that double bottom area? It's possible, and we have to look at how it moves down. If it moves down very correctively, creates a similar formation like this, then it would be reasonable to think that that is coming back up. So Bitcoin, it's headed down, but we might hold at that double bottom area, get a move up. Now, if we do break, I will be looking at the beginning of this correction here, beginning of this corrective period here, as a point to watch. Now this isn't set in stone, this isn't absolute, but it's right about 5,900. So that's where I'm watching. If we do have some sort of descending channel, some sort of deceleration at that point, then we'll look at it and it might actually hold and we'll create structure there. But that's what we're looking at for Bitcoin. We're looking to move down and we didn't get very far. Created a nice ascending channel. It was really good, really clear. So that's Bitcoin. I wanted to look at a couple others here and not just Bitcoin because I think that you may want to trade other things as well. And obviously there is some correlation between Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they move independently and they do different things. So if you just look at the daily chart on Ethereum looks very different. On Ethereum, we have this descending type channel, right? So we're expecting this to eventually break to the upside. Just like I'm expecting Bitcoin to eventually break to the upside, but we have more downside in it before that happens. But for Ethereum, we will eventually break to the upside. Now we may get all the way down here to the bottom of structure, about $100. That's possible. It depends on what happens with Bitcoin. But right now, we have a clear sell setup. So we moved down very correctively, right? It's kind of a pretty big impulse here. Then it went into more correction. But what's more important than that is we broke up, but then we went straight into this ascending type channel, which is not a good sign if you're looking for this to move up longer term. And we're looking for this to break down. So if we look at the 1 hour, so it's breaking back into the channel right now. But if you did want to short Ethereum, all I'd be looking for is a setup like this or that. Some sort of flag. So if we get this move up, a move down, a move up, move down, get some sort of flag here, even a bigger one, then if you want to short that, that would be a good opportunity. So if you look at Litecoin, very similar thing with Litecoin. So we had this descending channel just like Bitcoin, very, very similar. But then we had this ascending channel too. So we had this reversal pattern just like Bitcoin. And I wanted to show you this because it's very important. So previously we were looking at this kind of pattern for Litecoin and then it moved out. But you have to look at how it moved out. So it moved out, but it moved out correctively. So since it moved out correctively, we're not expecting this to make a crazy break to the upside, just like Bitcoin. So we can evolve this and it makes a little bit more sense. So now we have a descending channel, but inside of this descending channel, we have this ascending channel, which would be a move to the downside. So if you just jump into the 1 hour, again, we're looking at the very same thing. For Litecoin, we're looking at a flag here, and this flag looks even tighter. If it breaks from here, that would be perfect. If it develops a little more, that is kind of correlated with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin breaks, this will break at a very similar time. So I'd watch them together, but we are looking at a very clear flag here for Litecoin to move to the downside, which is really nice. So the last one I wanted to look at is Ripple. Trading Ripple has been really good. The patterns here have played out really, really nicely. Have gave us good probability. So if we look at the 1 hour, again, we have a very similar thing happening. We had a descending channel right here. We had this descending channel that was corrective, made this move up, broke out, but then went up and broke all the way back down. So now we can assess this and say that this is an ascending channel. And again, you can leave the trend line in or it might confuse you. So if you wanted, you could bring that back. You could bring it back. Maybe that makes a little bit more sense to you. The pattern is what you're looking for. The pattern is the most important. So the pattern can move through established structure, but the current pattern is what you're looking at. So just because it moved out doesn't mean a whole lot unless it moves up aggressively, gives us that flag to then move higher. But this is a reversal pattern. This is a ascending channel to move down. So with Ripple, we're expecting this to come down as well. So if you just look at it, we could hit some crazy prices for Ripple. So it depends on what happens with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin breaks the longer term corrective structure we've been in, we could see 30 cents for Ripple. It's on the cards because it is correlated. If Bitcoin drops, Ripple will drop. But it is important to realize that just because it's correlated doesn't mean that it has to move exactly in unison, and each pair has its own behavior, and you have to understand that. But that's what we're looking at for the major cryptocurrencies on my watch list right now. Bitcoin is dropping. We're just looking for the flag to develop a little more, give us that drop, and if you're looking to short it, I would simply wait for this to give us a clear break. So if you're looking at this as the flag, once this breaks down, once this breaks below, I would go ahead and short that. So if that's what you're looking to do, that would be a good opportunity to do that, because overall on the daily, you can see we've got a pretty big momentum here, pretty good sized bearish candle. So it is looking good for a further move down, and if you did short it from here, I would just be aware that it could come back up from here, and so I would protect my capital. I would either set my stop to break even once we break below, get down to this area, or I would set a profit target in here, so if we did move back up, I'd get taken out for profit. But that's what we have for the major pairs on my watch list. Again, we're looking for more downside for Bitcoin. I would just watch the double bottom area and see if we hold it. If we don't, I would watch this area here, 5,800, as a point to watch. It's not set in stone, it's not guaranteed, but it's something we want to watch. So before we close this, I did want to say this. A lot of people see Bitcoin moving down as this hugely negative thing, and I don't see it like that. I see opportunity all over this chart. So whether Bitcoin is $1,000 or $50,000, it doesn't really matter to me, because I can make money on this chart whether it's $1,000 or $50,000. It doesn't matter. And if you understand that there's a ton of opportunity in this market, even this pattern here, so let's say you took this as a reversal pattern, you took it on the break, there's about $500, $600 in that if you got it out at the break. So it's really good. There's opportunity in this market, even if you're just buying and selling still. So if you're thinking, well, Bitcoin's going down, should I just get out entirely? You can make money on this market, and you shouldn't discredit it just because the price is moving down. You know, Bitcoin is still $7,500. Even if it's $1,000, that's still $1,000. That's a crazy price. I think it's just because we've gotten to 20,000 that we see 7,500, 8,000 as low. It's not. 8,000 is a high price. It's a really good price. And so you should see it like that. This isn't a hugely negative thing. You can make money in this market no matter what the conditions are. So I did want to mention that. We're going to do a whole video on that topic here in the next couple days. So that's what I've got for you today. Again, if you want to be updated when we do launch our course here in the next couple weeks, click the link in the description, enter your email, and we'll let you know when that goes live. You won't want to miss it. It's going to be a ton of awesome content in that course, and we're going to be updating it as we go. So you're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be incredible. But that's going to do it. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care now.